What's up, YouTube? Today we are looking at a Svord piece of cutlery. We are going to look at this real quick. I've pulled this out like one time briefly, so it's here. This is the correct, it has a convex grind. Well, there's a decent amount of info. I'll look at that later. So the sheath is pretty interesting in that it is extremely thick. And the outside is rubberized. We're going to look at both of these things more. This comes slathered in grease. So kind of a classic sharp finger design. There's no jimping up here. You can see it is full tang, which is very nice. It has the classic peasant knife, or sword, I should say. Some sort of plastic or polymer. You can see the blade. Really pretty nice, actually. Like I said, I only looked at this briefly. One thing I noticed, though, is the tip. If you can see, is actually pretty well machined for what was 20 bucks. This is $20 plus shipping. So I'll try to, unlike, say, a Warrenclyffe, where you have that point right at the front that is pretty fragile, to be honest. Takes just a little bit more care. This comes out to a more snubbed point. You can see here. See that? And that is going to, it makes this tip extremely strong. I think over time that'll probably, for me at least, get sharpened into a tip in the front. We'll see, though. When you get a hold of this knife, you'll be able to see, and you'll also see that it's not an accident. And although there's not a swedge up top, it's the same effect as if you had a swedge and a false edge, like, say, this knife I'm wearing. It has, that comes to a tip, though, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't go push it straight into something, because the edge comes up to meet that. And I don't think that's a machining error. I really, really do not. I get that it's maybe not coming in the best, because it's like really fine detail. I'm trying, guys. All right. So what I think basically is the deal with that is that it is definitely intentional. It's not that they didn't hit it with a belt. It's that they have chosen to have the edge come up to be kind of right in front or right behind this. And it's not even a dull point. I think the edge might even come up right in front of that nose right there, because this What I mean is, I think, yeah, I can do this without cutting myself, right? I can do this without cutting myself, but if I were to do this, I'm gonna cut myself, straight up. The edge comes all the way up to, I mean, I'm catching edge right there. Anyway, it's kind of a protected edge. I don't know. Listen, I'm just a hobbyist. I don't make knives. It would, if I could probably look. I'll see. This will probably be back on the channel. Maybe I'll talk about it more. Maybe I'll ask people. This was made in New Zealand. Anyway, let me put this Bradford away. It's got a Svord button, nice sturdy button. It reminds me very much of the stuff fire hose is made of. And it's been sewn onto this rubber piece. I'm assuming they're also glued. This is where your belt would go through, which in any other, like, look, this is not a good design, because if the equipment isn't really tough, this will blow out and break out and tear out. But this stuff is so tough, I don't think that's gonna happen. I really don't. And you've got this for a, let me zoom out, ferro rod or whatever, but probably a ferro rod. And if this is too big, you could cut it to fit. You could probably just cut it straight off if you don't want it. I'll probably leave mine. These are riveted together. This extremely tough interior, I don't believe, no, it doesn't. It doesn't have any type of insert. But I think with the way this tip is, I don't foresee it ever snagging. And the tip is also such, I'm not even gonna, I sharpen on sticks, obviously, rods that is, but I'm not worried about that. This is a very neat little knife. You can see this comes down to here. There isn't a sharpening choil or anything. This edge is actually pretty sharp. Yeah, this way, I mean, I think that this edge goes all the way to this, but there's kind of like a spur. And I think your fingers would ram into. I think that would stop your fingers from jumping. So it's almost like a guard. But very, very, very no frills. This is, I think, a slightly convex or concave. Slightly, no, wait. That is convex. It is convex. My bad. Yeah, it is. Coming down to an edge, it's probably a convex edge as well. So it's just a tough knife. This is a super duper tough knife. I think it's made out of the same steel as the peasant knives. It's a steel that I now forget, which is silly of me. They even tell you on this paper to cut paper. They literally say you should be able to cut paper. All right. Bottom line is, though, I have large hands. I wouldn't want to hold it like that, so I'd probably end up holding it like this. So this is a very no-nonsense, super tough, super capable. This is Swedish saw steel, or I don't know, it's not, it kind of is. It kind of is. But it's tough, high carbon tool steel that reminds me in its application, its usages, and also in some of its properties of Swedish saw steel. But it's not. It might be tougher than that. Let's see how sharp it came. So, house paper. The tip seems to generate going in a little drag. But for 20 bucks, I mean, this is, I'll probably keep this just because I like it. That's, I mean, at that price, this is something that you could grab somebody for some sort of holiday, and you're not just buying them like a cheap knife. You're buying them a nice knife. All right, and here it is again, and its totality comes out. I'm assuming going in. Yeah, if you're thinking about it, I don't know how. Oh, look, there's a slight imperfection right here. Yeah, if you're thinking about it, I would. I don't know. If you like the sharp finger design, you're gonna like this, obviously. Yeah, that's about all she wrote for this one. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. You folks have a good rest of your day. Bye now.